The lady from the 17th, Representative Wallace, will you please stand and join me here at the rostrum. House Resolution 4696, clerk will read.
Whereas Representative Deb Wallace has served the people of the 17th Legislative District with distinction and pride since 2003, and whereas Representative Deb Wallace has lived in Washington's Vancouver for more than 20 years, where she raised 2 children with her husband John, a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, and whereas Representative Deb Wallace has devoted her entire adult life to public service and making Washington a great place to do business as the Director of Business Expansion for the Columbia River Economic Development Council and the Growth Management and Development Services Manager for the Washington State Department of Transportation, as the Executive Director for the Columbia Corridor Association, as Government Affairs Director for the Vancouver Chamber of Commerce, and as Director of Planning for the Development of CTRAN. And whereas Representative Deb Wallace has been extensively involved in her community on the Regional Transportation Committee, Pine Brook Homeowners Association, Shoreline Committee, Downtown Vancouver Association, Airport Green Neighborhood Association, Girl Scouts USA, Columbia River Girl Scouts, Daybreak Advisory Committee, Clark County Mental Health Advisory Committee, Lower Columbia River Estuary Partnership Board of Directors, 211 Info Board of Directors, ESD 112 Citizens Advisory Committee, and the Clark County Skills Center Advisory Committee. And whereas Representative Deb Wallace, family.
The gentleman from the 17th District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud to move adoption of this motion.
It's been moved and seconded we adopt the House Resolution 4696. Remarks? Representative Probst.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. To know Deb really well, you have to know Deb's family. And as I got to know Deb over time, it was a pleasure to see her interacting with her family and just what a truly close family you have. That, I believe, is what's really at your core, Deb. And it really shows throughout our district now. When I'm out talking to constituents, and I mentioned Deb Wallace, they feel about you how many people feel about their own family. They know that you are there for them, that you're ready to fight for them, that they can trust you. And you know, here in this chamber, we know how we all interact as legislators, but we really don't see each other back in our districts. And I'm not sure that everybody here knows just how well loved you are by your constituents, but I certainly do. It's something that I aspire to have the people at home trust me and believe in me the way that they do you, Deb. And they know that you're here for them. There are tough decisions to be made up here. And Pete Aller and I have talked about how, you know, Deb has a spine of steel when she needs to, and how grateful we are for that. When Deb has your back, she really has your back. And when she's here defending what our people back home want, you know she is going to fight till the end to make sure that the right thing happens. And Deb, you know, you had to be tough. It goes back to your family again. John was flying C-130s all around the world, in and out of Baghdad. And you were home, taking care of Matt and Andrea, running very significant organizations back home, having a very successful professional career while you raised 2 extremely successful children. And I just think it's all wrapped up. You are the same person at home as you are here. Deb's greatest attribute, as everyone in this chamber knows, is her conscience. She is careful to figure out what she believes is right, and once she knows it, she knows it. And Deb, you've made a huge difference in my life. You've made a very big difference in this state. You've made a tremendous difference for your constituents. But most of all, to the members in this chamber and to me personally, you are a friend, a true friend, and I sure appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I also rise in support of this resolution, and I thank the gentleman from the 17th for bringing it forward. Representative Wallace and I were both elected for the first time the same time. Now, I had served one session longer because I came in midterm. But I do recall about 2 weeks after the election, we both had been contacted by some folks in the Hawkinson area about an issue dealing with timber with the Department of Natural Resources. And though she was still only a representative-elect, she didn't hesitate to go to a meeting with a room full of people who were pretty upset about something that was going on in their neighborhood. And not only did she go to the meeting, but the day after Thanksgiving, I had agreed to go out with some of the folks and actually look at things on the ground because it had to do with timber. And Representative Wallace decided she wanted to go along too and learn a little bit about, you know, forestry and how things work with DNR and timber and everything else. And when all was said and done, Deb really thanked me for, you know, for teaching her about forestry and how some of these things worked and timber harvests and all those things. And then she did exactly the opposite of what I wanted her to do. But, you know, in a lot of ways, that's a mark of a good legislator, is they gather knowledge and then they determine how they feel they need to process it. And though we disagreed on that, there have been a lot of other times when we have worked together and we have agreed on things where she's drawn me in to help with an issue or I've drawn her in to help with an issue to try and build coalitions in Clark County, or the legislators in Clark County. And Mr. Speaker, we've pulled you in on some of them too. So yeah, you couldn't escape it either. You know, it's really been an honor for me to serve here, and it's been an honor to serve with everybody here. But because of how hard Deb works, it's really been an honor to work with her as well. And if I may read something from the resolution, Mr. Speaker.
Please continue.
Whereas Representative Deb Wallace has devoted her entire adult life to public service. That's a statement, Mr. Speaker, that I think is going to be true in 20 years from now. She's still quite young, actually, and she's got a lot of adult years left ahead of her. And I think in 20 years that statement will still be true, that she will have devoted her entire adult life to serving others. And whether it be in this legislative body or in any of the different organizations that she has served, I think she's going to continue to do it. And though we may not have an opportunity to work with her here in future years, I do think that all of our paths will cross in Clark County, because I don't think we've seen the last of Deb Wallace. And I know she's going to land on her feet, and she's going to have a phenomenal career in whatever she chooses from here on out. So Deb, it's been an honor to serve with you, and I look forward to working with you in whatever your new capacity will be. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The question before the House is adoption of House Resolution 4696. As many as in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Resolution is adopted.